When I was growing up, I wanted to become a sign painter. So I started going to my town sign painter and started learning painting on vehicle license plates. And these are all the kind of works I did. He's painter Salim. I trained under him and I wanted to become sign painter. I decided until I joined Faculty of Fine Arts in Baroda. That changed my perception. And later on, I joined Ogilvy and White and Kennedy, which is two advertising agencies. I spent almost a decade there. My world was something like this, which turned into something like this, which is like I continue to work with type, but in a very different way. These are like 23,000 pencils, which forms Work is Worship. And while I was doing these works, there were these beautiful signs on street which were fading. This is the kind of craft which we had at one point, and they were just fading away. A very Indian sensibility which was also kind of like dying. This is a fruit juice sign in Delhi. Typically this is how it looked before, but then after Flex it looked like this, and there was an explosion of Flex everywhere. And it was just going, it has kind of like taken over the whole urban Indian landscape. And I thought I should do something about this because I wanted to become sign painter at one point. So I started this project called Hand Painted Type, where I commissioned sign painter to paint a font on a banner. And these are some of the entries I got from different sign painters across India. And I simply asked them to write A to Z with all the other letters and different styles. And these are all from different parts of India, from Bangalore to like Ladakh, to Rajasthan, to Gujarat, all various different Indian styles, which was very, very Indian. I also commissioned some Devanagari letters, some of the Urdu letters. And the idea behind this was to kind of preserve this Indian style for the next generation, which will understand, kind of like they can use it also in their own work. So once the font is there, then we digitize into layers, into like almost 9 layers, and it becomes like a font which anyone can use it anywhere in the world. This font is called Painter Kafil, where this font is for $50. If you buy this font, the painter also gets a royalty out of it, and that this way he can also continue to make living with once he designs the font. This is also another free font on the same thing. And over a period of time, font became popular. I started seeing fonts in like different magazines and book covers and here and there. While I was working on something which was going down, I was also getting into graffiti as well. And this is because there was also a sign painter in me who wanted to go out and try on streets. So I started experimenting on streets with graffiti, going out at night, painting, running away from cops. It was very adventurous and kind of full of adrenaline at one point. But then in 2014, some of the people who were working on the streets came together, and we started the Street Art Festival in Delhi. And first thing we decided to do is to paint Delhi Police Headquarters, because we thought we proposed them something which they can't say no to. So we proposed them a portrait of Mahatma Gandhi, which they agreed, and we wanted we wanted the Indian government to also realize the power of walls and see how walls can also transform things. And soon after, I think we got another assignment, which was Tihar Jail. The boundary of Tihar Jail is like 1 kilometer long, where we wrote a poem called Char Diwari, written by one of the female inmates from the jail, which talks about how we all surrounded by 4 walls. This also breaks the stigma of the jail and all the residents who live around it. So by the end of 2014, 5 of us came together. That's Akshat, Julia, Tanish and Arjun, and we formed Start India Foundation, which is like street and art, and becomes Start. And the point of Start was to kind of embed art within the cities we live in. So we invited Hendrik again to paint in Lodi Colony. Lodi Colony is like in the center of Delhi. It's like a grid-like structure. This is how the walls of Lodi Colony looked like. And we wanted to convert Lodi Colony into Lodi Art District, where it becomes like an open-air art district for everyone to come in. There are no gates, there are no timings, there are no tickets, but one can just come and experience art on a large scale, where one can walk around and see. So we started painting. These are some of the works from the colony. And all the Indian artists who worked here, this is by Harshvardhan Kadam, who's also an Ink Fellow, who's right here. This is a Spanish artist, Borondo. And we basically invited artists from almost around 20 countries to come and paint and experience Lodi. And they leave their mark behind. So these are some of the works. There's also work by Shiloh as well in this. This is by Shiloh, who's also an Ink Fellow. So the whole point of this was to kind of create a space where everyone can come in. There are no rules, there is no regulation. One can come and experience art. This is the map of Lodi Colony, which is divided between these two markets. And this is how it looks. It's almost around 28 artworks so far. We're going to add more artworks in the future. Similarly, we are also working in Mahim in Bombay, which is one end of Dharavi. And that's where also we started painting last year. This is a Guido van Helten. This is an Australian artist who's painted B-boys from Dharavi on this wall. This is one of my favorite artworks. These are all different artworks which we continue to paint even as we speak. There's an artist called Miles Toland who's painting right now as we speak in Dharavi. This is what he's doing. And in Hyderabad we are working on this district called Makta Art District, which is again on a necklace road. It's a average neighborhood. This neighborhood we kind of like converted into again an art district space where people come and experience art on a different scale altogether. So yeah, these are some of the images from Makta. So far we have kind of worked in 10 Indian cities, 500 artworks, 100 artists, almost around 25 countries. So when you searched Lodi Colony before, this is what Google gave you a result, and now if you search, it gives you a result like this, the same word. And it's also popular for many of the things. I mean, like it's also popular for pre-wedding shoots. It's also like where the First Lady of France comes and visits, or all these diplomats and governors and all these people who come and visit Lodi Colony with like proper entourage. And I want to talk about this guy in the middle. His name is Deepak. Since we started painting, this changed Deepak's life. And there are not only Deepak, but there are hundreds of kids in Lodi Colony whose perception towards art has changed. And I wish that when I was young, I could I would have seen something like on this scale. This is when you make art for all, things change. And I think art also works as a healer with massive urban Indian cities where, it's pretty tense. And I think we need to reclaim our streets. We need to have like God's pictures, and we need to have like to protect our walls, where I think we need to do a lot to make the streets take the streets from advertising and all the messaging around us. So I want to leave with this last slide, which is a project we did in Hyderabad last year. Thank you.